Hello BookTube, welcome back to another recent read. My last video I mentioned I was listening to Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi, narrated by Will Wheaton. I finished this book. I've got a couple other ones I want to talk about too, and they all kind of have a theme, which you'll see in a minute. But this was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It had me laughing out loud in the car. I must look like a nut while I was driving. But just to reiterate what it was about, our main character, Jamie Gray, is working kind of this dead-end job as a food delivery driver for an app that he used to work for the company, but kind of got demoted. And this is like right around 2020 when COVID hit. It's kind of briefly mentioned in the book, so it's very kind of topical to events going on during that time period. But he ends up delivering to an old friend from his school days named Tom, who works for an animal reservation society. And Tom offers him a job, basically just grunt work, something that they need, at last minute. So he jumps at the chances, something else. He's just fed up with this job after a bit and doesn't really know much more about the job. Ends up finding out that this animal rights organization is taking care of kaiju, large, huge, monstrous creatures on a kind of alternate dimensional Earth that is accessed through some kind of portal type thing, which you find out through the story. But everything just gets kind of crazy from there, as you could just imagine. It was just packed full of action and just really bizarre creatures in the world that these kaiju live in, and the things that Jamie encounters. There's super tons of humor within his books, and this one is not missing that beat at all. Like I said, it had me laughing out loud. There ends up, as you find out in the description of the book, that it's not just this preservation society that has found an access to these kaiju in this other kind of Earth, but another organization finds out about it and chaos ensues. But anyway, I absolutely loved it. I highly recommend it, and definitely recommend listening to it. Let's get this computer here going here. Next up, while I was kind of nearing the end of reading or listening to the Kaiju Preservation Society, I came across a manga at work, and we had 3 volumes of it. And this is Kaiju number 8. This is by Naoya Matsumoto. This is volume 1, volume 2, and I don't have a copy of 3 with me right now, but that is volume 3. And this is set in a world where Japan, oops, I just dropped volume 1, hang on, where Japan has been devastated by a kaiju, and they've created this Japan Defense Force to battle these creatures. And our main character, Kafka Hibino, he's 32 years old. This is him right there. When he was younger, him and his friend Mina Ashiro, that's her right there, she's 27 now as the story kind of takes place. But when they were younger, they saw their houses, their school, their whole village pretty much destroyed by a kaiju, and decided right then and there that they would both team up together and join the defense force when they were older, and they would fight side by side. Well, things didn't go exactly to plan. Kafka kind of failed the test to join the defense force. But his friend Mina was successful, and she ends up being a captain in the 3rd division, so she's way, way up there. Instead, our main character ends up working for a kind of kaiju cleanup company. They get the dirty work. After the defense force kills off the kaiju, they've got to dispose of the body and clean up the guts and all the crappy stuff. Introducing another character is Rino Ishikawa. He is 18 years old, and he ends up joining the cleanup crew kind of just temporarily. He wants to join the defense team as well eventually if he passes the test, but he's still kind of young, and he's kind of trying to get some background on the kaiju, and so he ends up joining this cleanup crew and kind of working under Kafka. And he doesn't understand like why Kafka didn't kind of pursue his dream or whatever, like he quit or something like that. But he comes to learn later on that of course he failed. But he informs Kafka that they have changed the rules and they've raised the age limit, so he has another chance to try and join the defense team and again fulfill his promise to fight side by side with his best friend Mina. But something happens before he gets a chance to actually take the test. And it's kind of described on the back of the book, so no spoilers here or anything, but he ends up, as you see, something happens, and he ends up turning into this human kaiju hybrid creature. And our other main character, Reno, happens to see this happen. And of course is freaking out. At first he thinks the kaiju has just suddenly shown up, and he has to convince him, no, it's me, it's, you know, Kafka. So here he's able to kind of control this. It's not very well, but he is able to kind of control and kind of turn himself back into looking like a human, and kind of could flip the switch and turn back into a kaiju. It's going to give him some strength and power, as you'll find out as you read the story. But this particular story of someone who wants to fight these creatures, but who is also one of these creatures, reminded me very much of one of my very favorite mangas, and that's Blue Exorcist by Katsue Kato. Our main character in here, Rin Okamura, it's been a while since I've read it, but Rin Okamura wants to go to school to train to become an exorcist, someone who battles demons, yet he himself is part demon. And I'm thinking, wow, that's a very similar kind of plot thread there going on. But I love this one, and I'm actually beginning to really, really love this one, almost from the get-go. I love the characters. There's a lot of other characters since I've only gone up to, like I said, the third volume. More interesting characters have been introduced. But the title Kaiju number 8 is because when he is spotted, he is added to the list of kaiju that they need to, you know, kill off, and he's Kaiju number 8. So here he's trying to, you know, become part of the defense force against creatures that he is now one of. So anyway, there is also humor within these two, just as there is within Blue Exorcist. There's a lot of action, a lot of great characters. I love the, like I said, the artwork is fantastic. I mean, look at this kaiju creature. It's fantastic. The cover shows him on there as well. So, you know, right away, like right in the beginning of volume 1, you know what happens to him, and that's kind of the whole point of the plot thread. But yeah, absolutely loving it. Highly recommend it. If you're into manga, check it out. If you just want to get a touch of kaiju, check out John Scalzi. And that's all I have for you today. Like I said, kind of a kaiju theme. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're interested in reading these, or if you've read them, let me know down below, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.